The 2025 Essendon Football Club are giving the 2023 West Coast Eagles a good run for their money in terms of injury carnage. No club this season has been destroyed as much as the Bombers with availability, and it's led to the club blooding 11 new players. 2 of them have even been from the mid-season draft, and it goes to show how desperate the club has been to have fit players ready to perform. 2 more debutants would even equal Fitzroy's record of 34 years ago of 13 new players wearing an AFL jumper for the first time. And because of this, it's looking like another back end of the season fade out. But so far, the teams put on field have held up well and only been beaten heavily once, and that was against Geelong, who are one of the best teams in the competition. But out of this period of injuries to best 22 players, there has been a lot of good. Not only with those who have been given a chance to play, but those who have had the added responsibility and failed to perform on field. Perhaps at the end of 2025, no club will have learnt more about their list and who to take into the future than Essendon. Strangely enough, the injury carnage has mainly been dealt to the back end and rucks of the Bombers. Just as it looked like Jordan Ridley, Ben Mackay and Zach Reid were creating strong chemistry and continuity, all 3 of them went down. Ridley and Reid with hamstrings, and Mackay with a mysterious and concerning foot that is struggling to get better as he attempts to ramp up training. It's like taking Darcy Moore, Billy Frampton and Jeremy Howe out of Collingwood, or Jack Henry, Sam De Koning and Zach Guthrie out of Geelong. You simply can't replace these players. Even Lewis Hayes, who debuted against Sydney, did his ACL, and Mason Redman has had his own calf concerns. It has left the Bombers with a makeshift defensive 50, just as their best one on paper had kept 5 of their last 6 opponents under 75 points. But even more bizarre were the big fellas that went down. Like the defence, Sam Draper and Nick Bryan were supposed to grow and get continuity together and form a dual ruck threat. It lasted just 4 games as Bryan did his ACL in gather round and Draper did his Achilles the following week. Draper himself was having a career best season and an impressive start to 2025 as he was coming out of contract. All you can say is poor old Todd Goldstein. The 36-year-old has fought on but has struggled against the best rucks, and it's obviously not his fault. He's the part-time ruck coach, and that was set to be his main role in 2025. At least with this recent bye, he's gotten 2 full weeks off, thanks to a chop-out by Vigo Vizentini, who Luke Jackson feasted on. Throw in Kyle Langford, Thomas Edwards and Harrison Jones as well, and Jai Caldwell and Darcy Parish, who have only recently come back. It's a mountain of an injury list. This isn't to throw a pity party for Essendon, but shows the rhythm that has been broken in their season and the improvement in chemistry built in defence and the ruck lines that has been put on hold. Despite this, the performances have been admirable. The 4 games post the Richmond Dreamtime game, when their injury tally was at its peak, have seen 4 losses come. An 18-point loss away at the Gabba to Brisbane, an 8-point loss to rivals Carlton, that heavy defeat against Geelong, and then another away loss to Fremantle. It's a tough set of 4 matches, even when everyone is at full strength, and to be at least competitive and a shot to win 2 of those games was a good effort. Not that that gets any points on the ladder for Essendon. The real talking points on the field are with the silver lining individuals, not the results. A few of the important youngsters have stepped up. Archie Roberts has been the one in defence. 3 of the 4 games have seen him tick over 20 disposals, and he's also kicked a goal in that period of time. He runs and carries while being a pretty reliable one-on-one defender against smaller players. With Angus Clark, who is more of a winger, and Zach Johnson, the Bombers' last pick in the 2024 draft beside him, Roberts has led the way as a 19-year-old. The other end of the ground have seen Nate Caddy and Isaac Kako stand up. Kako has surpassed 10 touches in each of the 4 games and kicked 2 goals, and his presence and pressure on field is clearly growing. But it's his good mate and caddy who has looked every bit of a superstar despite not much assistance around him. His game against Brisbane, despite only getting 10 disposals and kicking 2 goals, was immense, and he showed even more class against Fremantle, getting up the ground and getting a lot of the ball. Big marks and confidence are important to have in a team, and Caddy brings that. Now Luam on the wall, Vizentini, and mid-season pickups Archer May and Lachlan Blackiston have also got their chances, and their futures are probably more up in the air for the longer term. But as good as Caddy and Roberts have been, it's important for Brad Scott and his coaches to dissect who can't stand up when the others are down. The names are the same as before. Archie Perkins, Ben Hobbs, and Eliza Sardis just haven't capitalised on the opportunity. Despite Parrish and Caldwell being out, and now Sam Durham and Zach Merritt switching between halfback and wing roles at times, the three can't establish themselves as influential players. Will Setterfield has surpassed all three of them, and although he has done his role, he doesn't look like a long-term fit. Perkins has lost all confidence, Hobbs is a trier, but has lacked polish and speed, and Sardis is a bit the same. With so many on-ballers out, the three did have a legitimate shot to entrench themselves and take up the slack. It just hasn't worked out, and when the midfield is back to full health, where do these guys fit in? Can you try and get a second round pick for Sardis? Maybe. And perhaps Perkins has enough versatility to find another home with a fresh start. They are only three players, but ones who are heavily invested in and now don't seem to have a place in this team. Stability overall is an important part of the future of Essendon, at least off the field, but on it you do need good players who can play their roles, and Matt Rosa does have to decide who is worth keeping. Another decent small forward would be handy, and possibly a medium defender, so if he can craft trades or draft selections out of Perkins, Hobbs and Sardis to fit these needs, it would be change for the better. But all Essendon can do right now is ride out the rest of this season. Reinforcements should be back within a week or two, and hopefully a handful of wins to close out the year. On paper, in years to come it might look like another lost season, with a good start but poor finish. However, in the context of how the year has panned out with the injuries, the silver linings and understanding of nearly every player on the list could be hugely beneficial, not just with those who can perform, but the players whose future isn't long term, and the creativity that comes with trying to find them a role on field, or the resources that can come in the form of trading them away. If the Bombers can find another 2 or 3 10-year players from this carnage, and then find another 2 or 3 out of those who are no longer needed, it could be a season that sets up a third of this Essendon team for a long time to come.